The NBA really shouldn't have allowed the Warriors to pull this off, but here we are. Jonathan Kuminga is back in Golden State on a deal that actually fits both him and the team perfectly. And honestly, that's just the first of 3 big reasons why I believe the Warriors might be the most slept-on team in the NBA right now. Let's start with reason number 1. The Kuminga saga is finally over. After weeks of uncertainty, the restricted free agent forward agreed to a 2-year, $48.5 million contract to stay with the Warriors. On the surface, it's a win, but the real value is in what didn't happen. Had Kuminga chosen to sign the 1-year, $7.9 million qualifying offer, he would have secured a no-trade clause and set himself up to become an unrestricted free agent next summer. That scenario would have been disastrous for Golden State, leaving them at serious risk of losing a cornerstone asset for absolutely nothing. Instead, the Warriors now have him locked in at just over $24 million per season, a number that works on multiple levels. Not only does it give them security with one of their most promising young players, but it also makes Kuminga's contract extremely tradable. If Golden State decides the fit isn't right or wants to make a big move at the deadline, this deal gives them the flexibility to bring back a significant return. That's especially relevant considering his name was swirling in trade rumors all summer. In fact, Sacramento reportedly offered a 3-year, $63 million sign-and-trade package that would have sent Malik Monk and a protected 2030 first-round pick to Golden State. The NBA really shouldn't have allowed the Warriors to pull this off, but somehow they did. Jonathan Kuminga is officially back on a deal that fits the team perfectly, and it changes everything for Golden State moving forward. In fact, this is just one of 3 major reasons why I think the Warriors are one of the most slept-on teams in the league right now. The first reason starts with Kuminga himself. After weeks of uncertainty and rumors, the restricted free agent forward agreed to a 2-year, $48.5 million contract to stay with Golden State. That decision was massive, not just because of the deal he did sign, but also because of the one he didn't. If Kuminga had gone with the 1-year, $7.9 million qualifying offer, it would have given him a no-trade clause and set him up for unrestricted free agency next summer. That scenario would have been a nightmare for the Warriors, who would have faced the real possibility of losing him for nothing. Instead, the new deal locks him in at just over $24 million a season, a number that works both as security and flexibility. It gives Golden State a young, ascending talent under contract, while also making him a very tradable piece if the front office decides to pursue another star at the deadline. That flexibility matters because Kuminga's name was floating around in trade rumors all summer. Sacramento reportedly dangled a 3-year, $63 million sign-and-trade package involving Malik Monk and a protected 2030 first-round pick. Phoenix tried to get involved, offering a 4-year, $90 million deal, though talks never got serious. Brooklyn, despite having cap space, didn't even make an offer, which raised eyebrows around the league. And the truth is, all of this attention makes sense. Kuminga showed flashes of his star potential in the playoffs, particularly in that second-round series after Steph Curry went down with a hamstring injury. Over those last 4 games against Minnesota, he stepped into the spotlight and delivered numbers nobody expected. 24.3 points per game, nearly 39% from deep, and a true shooting percentage of almost 64%. It felt like his moment to audition as a future star, and he absolutely passed the test. But here's the problem. When Curry was healthy, Steve Kerr flat out didn't trust him. Kuminga barely touched the floor in the first-round series against Houston, didn't play in the play-in tournament, and saw his minutes vanish in the biggest moments of the season. That lack of trust has always strained their relationship, and it's why Kuminga seriously considered leaving. He's desperate for consistent minutes to develop. The tools are all there: size, athleticism, ball handling, and scoring. But what holds him back are the little things: rebounding, help defense, awareness, and decision-making. Those weaknesses have limited his opportunities, and Jimmy Butler's arrival only complicates things further. Kerr has already admitted it's tough to play Butler and Kuminga together, which means something has to give. That leaves the Warriors with 2 clear paths. They can finally commit to playing him consistent minutes, betting on his growth and keeping the locker room chemistry intact. Or they can showcase him early, pump up his trade value, and move him at the deadline for another piece to complement Curry, Draymond, and Butler for one more playoff run. Either way, Resolving his contract has opened the door for Golden State to shape the rest of its roster. And that leads to reason number 2. The Warriors are expected to finalize deals with 3 players very soon. Veteran big man Al Horford, plus returning guards DeAnthony Melton and Gary Payton II. Suddenly, when you look at Golden State's depth chart, it feels far deeper and more balanced than people realize. Brandon Podziemski, Moses Moody, Buddy Hield, Horford, GP2, Melton, and now Kuminga round out the rotation behind the big 3. That's a solid group of players who not only fit, but can genuinely impact games around Steph Curry. And the key here is that these aren't just filler names. They're the type of veteran role players who elevate a team into contender status. Take Al Horford. He brings Golden State something they've basically never had in the Curry era, a true stretch 5. Last season in Boston, Horford shot 36.3% from 3 on over 7 attempts per game. While he won't launch nearly as many in Golden State, his ability to force defenses to respect him from deep will create valuable spacing for Steph, Butler, and Kuminga. That kind of weapon changes the geometry of the floor. Then there's Gary Payton II, a player Warriors fans already know is crucial to what they do. His defense alone makes him invaluable, especially because he covers so much ground and helps compensate for Curry's limitations on that end. But offensively, he brings underrated contributions as well, smart cuts, hustle plays, and enough shooting to keep defenses honest. When GP2 is healthy, Golden State's defense takes a noticeable leap. DeAnthony Melton rounds out the trio as another versatile two-way guard. He brings toughness, perimeter defense, and steady shooting, all of which slot perfectly into the Warriors system. Together, these veterans give Golden State the depth and reliability they lacked last season. Elite athleticism, high IQ cutting, smart passing, and an impressive finishing ability at the rim, even though he's slightly undersized. Gary Payton II just has that knack for knowing how to play off of Steph Curry. Whether it's setting a screen and rolling at the perfect angle or timing a backdoor cut with precision, GP2 has always found a way to complement Curry's gravity. His ability to slot into different roles while maintaining elite defensive energy is something Golden State has leaned on for years, and his return adds stability that this roster desperately needed. And then, of course, there's DeAnthony Melton. His story with the Warriors is a bit of a what-if from last season. He actually joined Golden State early in the year, but his season was derailed after tearing his ACL. Still, in that limited sample size, his fit in the system was almost eye-opening. The chemistry between Melton and Curry was undeniable. When Melton shared the floor with Steph, Curry's scoring average skyrocketed, nearly 38 points per 75 possessions, which was more than 10 points higher than in the game Steph played without him. At the same time, Melton himself thrived alongside Curry, averaging nearly 24 points per 75 possessions, also close to a 10-point jump compared to his solo minutes. Yes, it was only about 9 games, but the evidence was hard to ignore. Those two clicked. Melton is exactly the type of guard you want next to Steph. He's capable of handling the ball enough to relieve pressure. He defends the point of attack at a high level, and he's a respectable outside shooter. That combination of traits isn't just convenient. It's essential for building a functional backcourt with Curry. So when you zoom out and look at the full picture, Golden State's supporting cast suddenly looks much stronger than it did last year. For a veteran-heavy team, depth is the currency that buys health and stamina. They now have multiple players who can contribute on any given night, which will be crucial in limiting the regular season load on Curry, Butler, and Draymond. Keeping their stars fresh for the postseason might ultimately be the biggest key to giving this team one last real shot at contention. And that brings us to reason number 3, the core of this team, the foundation that still makes the Warriors dangerous. Steph Curry, Jimmy Butler, and Draymond Green. We already know how good the Steph-Draymond pairing is. For championships, over a decade of dominance, and the longest active teammate duo in the league, their chemistry is unmatched. Draymond's defensive brilliance and playmaking perfectly complement Curry's once-in-a-generation shooting and off-ball movement. It's a combination that has been proven, tested, and has stood the test of time. But what elevates Golden State from a scrappy playoff team into a legitimate contender is Jimmy Butler. He is the X factor. With Butler in the fold, the Warriors are no longer a feel-good story of resilience. They're a threat. Last season, When Curry, Draymond, and Butler were all available, Golden State quietly went 23-8. That's a 74% win rate, good enough to project to 57 wins over a full season. During Media Day, Curry himself pointed that out, noting that if they sustain that pace, it's home court advantage in round one. Now, expecting them to actually hit 57 wins might be overly optimistic, but that's not the real point. What matters is that Steph believes it's possible. That mindset should terrify the league, because when Curry is confident in his roster, history tells us Golden State becomes nearly impossible to stop in the playoffs. The numbers back up as well. Without Butler, Golden State was painfully average, a net rating of just plus 0.7, with an offensive rating of 113.9 and a defensive rating of 113.2. That's basically the definition of mediocrity. But with Butler in the lineup, everything changed. Their net rating jumped to plus 9.6, their offense improved to 117.8, and their defense tightened up to 108.2. That's not just improvement, that's elite territory. The Butler effect is real, and it's arguably the best roster move Golden State has made since adding Kevin Durant. Butler addresses all the holes that plagued the team in recent years. Secondary shot creation, switchable defense, playoff caliber toughness, and an underrated ability to get to the free throw line. That last part might actually be the most valuable of all. Before Butler arrived, the Warriors ranked near the bottom of the league in free throw rate. They were putting up just 16.7 attempts per 100 possessions, which landed them in the 15th percentile. But with Butler, that number skyrocketed to nearly 26 attempts per 100, 99th percentile. That's not just a small improvement, it's a massive swing in efficiency. Those free throws not only generate easy points, but also give an aging team critical opportunities to rest during live action. That extra breathing room can be the